channel. We are back on my couch today, having some coffee in a very festive little tumbler. And today I want to talk about something that really affects me, and I'm sure it affects so many other people out there in the world. Like, I know it doesn't. It's a fact. Today we're going to talk about anxiety. Now, anxiety is something that I deal with, and not something I'm embarrassed to talk about or anything. I think more people should talk about it. For me, at least, it's part of kind of something that helps. You know, since talking about it helps me personally. So, according to medical news today, anxiety disorders affect 40 million people in the US. 40 million people in just the US, and only 36.9% of them receive treatment. So not even half. There are different kind of disorders such as separation anxiety, social anxiety, and there are just so many other different kind of disorders and I guess categories of what everything can be labeled under. If you do have severe anxiety, I highly recommend going and speaking to your doctor first, and I am sure they're more than happy to help you navigate your, through that path of getting help and seeking treatment that you probably need. And there's nothing wrong with that. It bothers me so much that people are like, oh, it's fine. Oh, I'm fine. Oh, I don't need it. You do. We all do. At a certain point, we need help. Maybe not necessarily like medically, but at a certain point, we need help. And I just find it so frustrating when people don't do it. Granted, I am one of them. I think I can solve everything by myself, and for me, that is something that causes my anxiety. And I know this, it's something that I've realized, and I think I can solve everything. I think I can do this and this and this and that, and all this stuff gets piled on top of me, and I'm just like, oh, I'm fine, oh, it's fine. And then all of a sudden, my heart's palpitating, my stomach is like, I literally start sweating, and just, why am I getting anxious? I have nothing to be anxious about. But it's everything that like just piles on top of one another. You know, all these things that I want to do but haven't done, all the things that I've done, and maybe like, what if I did that instead of that? You know, replaying it. And it's really, really frustrating to have to go through that. Some of the causes is environmental stressors, genetics, brain chemistry, and just like how we were made up. But there's not one particular cause of what causes someone's anxiety. For me, it comes in waves. It's not something I struggle with every single day. It's not something I live with every day, thankfully. I know there are people that do. I know there are people that are so anxious that they don't leave their house or they don't do certain things. And I highly recommend you seeing somebody and talking to somebody and getting the help that you need. With me, it's either the, oh, I have all this stuff that I need to get done, or it's the what if situations. Those are my huge things. It's like, oh, what if I do this and then I do that and then that causes this and then this. It's a wheel. It's a never-ending circle, and it's so frustrating because I can't help it. Like, my brain is just like, it just keeps turning. It keeps making up all these scenarios, and I'm like, girl, you're on your couch. Calm down. You're not doing anything right now. Just watch your movie. But no, my head is like, I have to get all these things done in like 3 months. I'm like, that's 3 months away. Why are you thinking about it right now? But I do that. Also, I am a planner, and I am a type A personality, so that plays into it. But I'm aware of it. And so I kind of want to get into like little tips and tricks of what I try to do whenever I get anxious. One of the things I like to do is write things down. So grab a sheet of paper. It doesn't have to be anything that you keep, and just literally do a word vomit. Put down on paper everything that you have in your head. Don't stop to think about it. Just let your hand do it. Let your brain connect to your hand and just write. For me, it helps because it almost feels as if I'm releasing it. Like, it's just kind of all flowing out from my brain. It's all there on paper, and then I can like go back and look at it. Oh, well, I can't do anything about this. It's already done. Okay, well, maybe I can plan this activity in the next 2 weeks. Great, cool. Write it in my planner. Yes, I have a planner. Another great thing that I like to do is something that Liz actually taught me, and it's breaking it down in my head. If you're not really someone that wants to write or doesn't like to write or whatever, maybe you don't have maybe you don't have access to a sheet of paper, actually just sitting down and thinking about it. Like, okay, what is my problem? What is it that I want to get done? Really trying to narrow it down and focus in on the root of what's really bothering me on that specific day. Is it I'm not getting enough hours at work? That's the thing I worry about. How do I get hours? Oh, well, maybe next time pick up a shift instead of being like, oh no, I want the day off. Do I want the day off? Of course. But do I need money to pay rent? I think that outweighs it. So pick up a shift. Maybe I talk to my manager about it and be like, hey, I'd really like to use some more hours. If possible, think of me, you know? Okay, maybe it's that. Maybe my anxiety is, oh, I haven't had a day to paint. Well, set aside a time, write in a day, like, okay, I'm off on Sunday, for example. I'm going to paint at this time. No matter what, I'm going to paint. And that really goes into also my self-care video that I made before. I can link it down below if you're interested in watching that, because that is part of it. So basically breaking it down in my head, finding the root of what is bothering me. And then if it, a lot of the times, like I said, it's something that hasn't happened to me. That's what causes my anxiety, is things that I make up in my head. So it's like, oh, well, what if I go to the supply store and they don't have the right paint and then I can't paint? You don't know. Tanya, you don't know. It's a supply store. I'm sure they have paint. Well, but what if they don't have the color that I'm looking for and I drove all the way over there for that one particular color of paint and then they don't have it and now I can't paint? Find another color. Go to another store. But see, in my mind, when I'm having that like anxious feeling, I don't think of all the solutions. All I think is, oh no, it's wrong, it's gone, it's done, nothing, it's the end of the world. You know, and that's literally how I think. And I know it's dramatic, but like I think it seems dramatic. Like when I look back on myself, I'm like, you're being dramatic. But that's just how my brain works. Finding the root of it, finding what the problem is and breaking it down. What can I do and what can't I do? What can I control and what is out of my control? That is very important to distinguish. If you can't control X, Y, and Z, great. Go off and do it. If you can't, let that go. You can't control it, let that go. Another tip that I like to do is just do relaxing activities. Everyone has different activities that relaxes them. Have some tea, read a book. Personally, those are things I like to do, but maybe that's not your idea of a relaxing activity. Maybe you like to go go-karting, and that is perfectly fine. Just drive around. Maybe that's how you release your stress. Or maybe you want to go mini golfing. Or maybe you just want to go to the beach, if you live by a beach, and sit there. Or lay there and just listen to the waves crash and do absolutely nothing and just lay there. That's really fun too. You know, just find something that relaxes you. Find, again, tying into the self-care video I made, find something that really helps you. It could be a trial and error thing. Maybe you think something is going to work for you. Maybe you think, oh, I'm going to read this book. You sit down and then your brain is still like you can't focus. Maybe that's not your thing. You know, maybe that's not your activity. So maybe you're going to have to try 2, 3, 5, 10 of them before you figure out what it is that you like to do. It's worth that time and that investment to figure it out, because in the long run, when you do have those anxious feelings, you can be like, okay, stop, I gotta go do this. Anxiety isn't something that I struggled with, obviously not as a kid, not even as like in high school. I mean, I dealt with it a little bit in college, I would say, but that was more of like, oh, I want to get good grades and graduate and be in this show. I was a theater major. Be in the show kind of thing, like that kind of anxiety. But in terms of like just, so I would say that's pretty normal, pretty typical for high school students, college students to go through that. They want to do well, they want to succeed. So like I feel that's pretty normal. The other kind of anxiety, the what if scenarios, fear of success, fear of failure, the financial instability, the other things came along with it after college, I would say. And I just feel like we live in this time where we are expected to do so much. We're expected to have a career, have good money, be happy, have a family, raise children. Like, I feel that there's a lot of expectations, and I could be wrong. That could just be my personal experience because I do come from a Russian family. There's a cultural barrier there that my family, my parents and grandparents, etc., the family that lives in Russia, and then me who grew up here, our views are different. So there's that pressure which piles onto the anxiety that I already have and more anxiety. Like I said, there's really no one cause to this. Like, there's no one thing, at least for me. I don't think people should be embarrassed or should hold back to talk about it. If you don't want to write it down, maybe it's more helpful for you to talk to a person. Maybe, you know, you like an open dialogue with them and to see what they think, kind of get an outside perspective. But at the end of the day, it comes down to you and what you want to do and how you want to handle it and the way you do handle it, because they're not living your life, you're living your life. You're the one that's living with this anxiety. And this is just what's helped me personally. And take care of yourself. If you want to talk about it. If you want to talk about it. If you don't want to talk about it to your family, friends, loved ones, but you want to seek treatment, or you don't feel comfortable talking to them, let them know that you are going through something and that you're gonna get help. I just think that if we're kinder to one another, you know, just respectful to one another, it'll make it just a little bit easier for us to go about our day. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this shined a little bit of light on what anxiety is and how it affects me personally, and the little tips and tricks that I've provided for you. If you do suffer with it a little bit, if it kind of hits you once in a while, please try them out. If you do think your anxiety is just unmanageable, or maybe you're just completely at a loss, please go see someone, talk to someone. Please don't forget to subscribe. It means the world to me if you do. I love you guys. Until next time.